Lloydminster residents may soon be able to dedicate a city bench in honor of a loved one, as the city is discussing the possibility of a bench dedication program. City Council was presented with the draft policy this week. The program would allow residents to recognize friends and family by having a plaque placed on new benches in city-owned green spaces. Up to 2 plaques can be placed on a bench at a cost of $2,000. The dedications would last 10 years with the option to extend the dedication for an additional cost. The city sees this as a sustainable way to add new benches to the city, as the fee would cover the cost and maintenance of the bench for its lifetime.
3 or 4 times a year, and even more sometimes, people want to leave a memorial for someone, and it's a tremendous opportunity. And most times it's to recognize their contributions to the community. In other cases it may not be due to a loss of a loved one earlier than planned.
The city anticipates this program would be popular among residents, but some concern was raised regarding screening of the names submitted for recognition. City administration is considering an amendment to the draft policy to allow for screening to avoid any controversy.
The screening discussion is important from the perspective that, again, we always aim to be on the positive, but some people don't always see the positive. So I think that the administration is going to look at that policy and bring back just a slight possible amendment after doing a little research, just to ensure that it's clearly covered.
Council will make a final decision on the program at a future council meeting. Wednesday's Blue Lights and Burgers event was a night for the community to connect with those who work on our highways, but also to learn about the hazards that come with their job.
The Gold Horse Casino saw a parking lot filled with roadside and emergency vehicles to help showcase the spirit of Saskatchewan, a memorial to remind residents to follow the rules as fatalities for roadside workers continue to be alarming. In North America, 1 tow truck driver is killed every 9 days.
These positive public forums, we're just trying to get that message out to protect everybody that's working on the side of the road. You know, if 10 people come through here and read that and talk to a couple tow guys and get that message, that's 10 less people that we have to worry about running by us. 4
years ago, the Saskatchewan government approved the use of blue lights on roadside vehicles in the province, as the blue light shines better through bad visibility. The Blue Lights and Burger Night is just one of the many events to help educate communities across Saskatchewan to slow down to 60 kilometers an hour.
With the unveiling of the Spirit Ride this year, it's been just fantastic. We weren't sure where it was going to go the week after that, and by the following Friday it was booked right up till fall everywhere.
This past winter, while doing some patchwork on the highway near Manville, Jess Ferguson's life and 2 others were changed forever by someone not obeying the speed limits.
I had 2 badly fractured legs, broken ankle, and dislocated shoulder. Stars airlifted me to Edmonton. I underwent 2 surgeries. I was in the hospital 24 days. Went home in a wheelchair. From going to work healthy, went home in a wheelchair.
Now Ferguson is showing his support for the campaign and emphasizing that it's crucial for people to slow down when passing roadside workers, as it does take a toll on them both physically and emotionally.
The word needs to get out there. You got to slow down. People are dying for no reason. Like the 3 of us that got hit, our lives are changed for the rest of our lives. There's stuff I can't do with my grandkids. My daughter took a video. My granddaughter riding a bike and me in a wheelchair. I'm not supposed to be in a wheelchair.
Connor Chan, Primetime Local News.
The Vic Juba Community Theatre is getting ready to welcome back residents with their upcoming outdoor concert series. The theatre has had to put the majority of their events on hold due to the pandemic. Now they get the chance to offer live music to the community in the form of outdoor concerts from the 24th to 26th. Concert goers are encouraged to bring their lawn chairs, and the tickets are pay-what-you-can pricing.
Tuesday, we have, kicking off the day, we have Milk-Fed Turkeys. They're a local group, and they play classic rock and country tunes. And then that is followed by Jake Vanderland and the Sturgeon River Boys. They are a bluegrass group. Then we have Michaela Sheedy, she's a country artist. And then ending the day is Scenic Route to Alaska, and they are a pop indie group that'll be really good.
Having it outdoors allows people who may be more hesitant about big events more space to distance and a freedom to do what they're comfortable with. The theater is excited for the fact that they get to welcome people back, whether that be indoors or outdoors.
It's critical this year, so we're so looking forward to being able to present live music. It's 2 years without live music has been odd.
They're also currently fundraising for the expansion of the Vic Juba Theater.
We have a matching donor until October, so we're really, really actively trying to match as much as we can with that matching donor.
If you would like to donate or purchase tickets for the outdoor concerts, visit the Vic Juba's website or phone the office. Now Connor Chan will take a look at your Thursday weather.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Yes, we'll take a look to see how good the weather's going to be for those outdoor concerts in a little bit here. But taking a look at some temperatures right now, a little bit cool today. We did see a little bit of rain this morning and a little bit of on and off showers throughout the afternoon. We could see that coming back a little bit of a chance of some showers into the evening tonight. But we could see lots of rain coming through the prairies during the weekend here in parts of Alberta for the early weekend, and then later parts of the weekend for us here in Lloydminster, seeing some of those showers as well. 21 in Vermilion, 20 also out in the Vegreville area. 19 in Marwayne, St. Paul, and Lac La Biche. 16 right now for Wainwright, Provost, and Immaculate. So it is getting a little bit cooler in some areas. 17 degrees in Maidstone, 19 in North Battleford, and then 21 in Meadow Lake as well. Lots of cloud coverage as we take a look to the satellite radar map. The system from a little earlier is kind of pushing out a little further eastbound as some parts of Saskatchewan could see some of that rain, and then we could see another system coming its way from the Edmonton area into, like I said, a little bit later on into the evening. There is that 30 to 50% chance that we could see some showers this evening, which was very welcome for the prairies, which continue to have been very dry and from all the heat that we've gotten over the summer. 9 degrees overnight in North Battleford. As we take a look at some temperatures a little bit more in depth, we could see some rain tomorrow for them at 19 degrees. Cold Lake sitting at 11 degrees overnight with some cloud coverage, and then 19 is expected for tomorrow for their daytime high. And then for us here in the Lloydminster area, we'll see some cloud coverage continuing on. Only warm up by 1 degree, so not a major change upwards for our temperatures for tomorrow, but it's going to be kind of the later parts of next week that could be a little bit chillier. So 18 is expected for both Saturday and on Sunday. We could see the rain even start on Sunday. We could see maybe upwards of maybe 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. So be prepared for a weekend filled with lots of showers potentially. But for right now, it just be kind of on mom about it there, as we are trying to hopefully going to get some rain here before September. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
The Global Institute for Food Security has partnered with the University of Saskatchewan on a first-ever research project designed to find more nutrient-efficient crop breeding. Jillian Code has the details.
Today on Primetime Local News, I am joined by Emil Holland. He is a senior research fellow with the Global Institute for Food Security. Emil, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Now, the Global Institute for Food Security has partnered with the University of Saskatchewan to implement live imaging research, a project that you've spent the last little bit working on. Could you tell me a little bit about this research?
So in this particular case, we're looking at something called long distance signaling. So it turns out that even though plants don't have nervous systems like you and I do, they signal stresses along the plant. And so we're going to use cucumber plants. Cucumbers are a very well-studied plant for this. And we'll use cucumber plants, and we'll watch the flow of both some specific elements and some specific nutrients. We'll watch the flow of those nutrients in response to plant stresses. When you do the conventional studies, you can see where things are, but you can't watch them moving to get there. We will be able to see changes in where things are in real time as we study these plants. And so this is a thing that we'll do with these snapshot images of the plant.
Yeah, you're getting a more in-depth look at what's actually happening within the plant. What do you guys have to find from this research?
We can also look underground too, so we can see what's happening in the roots, and that's a very important part of this. And so being able to better see how this particular plant responds to stresses and how it signals. So chemical signals travel between the leaves and the root back and forth, and they stimulate different plant responses. Being able to understand those and follow them in these plants will translate into better understanding important crop plants like soybeans and canola and wheat and others. And so we'll be able to better understand how those plants respond to specific signals as well.
And then, so you said you were taking a closer look at cucumber plants. What specifically, or do you think that you're going to find within the cucumber plants?
Well, we will be able to follow some specific elements, iron and zinc and some other elements that are of interest. We'll be able to see where they are normally stored in the plant. And then we will stress the plant with stresses which are, again, normal in growing plants. So we'll impose these stresses and we will see whether the plant responds to those stresses by moving these important nutrients and how, and more details of that stress response. And by being able to understand those stress responses, we'll be able to know more about this plant and other similar plants.
And it sort of seems like this will also allow for more accessible research.
We'll be bringing this thing to plant-friendly environments, and thus we'll be able to see what's happening in a plant when it's being stressed by the things that we want it to be stressed by, not by being stressed by being moved away from home, so to speak, or in this dry, cold sometimes or colder environment and not well lit. And so and plants respond to these stresses very, very quickly. We can run away. So when we don't like an environment, we can move somewhere else. They have to respond chemically to that environment to try to change it if they want to stay alive, because they're fixed, right? And so plants respond to stresses sometimes faster than we do. And so, it's very important when you're trying to understand what's going on in the plant that you're controlling all the aspects of the environment. And so being able to bring this imaging technology into plant growth facilities is a huge dream of mine.
Absolutely. It sounds, the way you're describing it, it sounds like it's a huge step in being able to understand how plants really, like as you said, respond to stressors and pass nutrients throughout its system. It's very exciting.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting. We've been working on this laser technology for about a decade now, and so it's quite new. And we've been imaging plants from the beginning because they pose the same challenges as other living things do, but they're very easy to get a well-controlled sample that you can an interesting and well-controlled sample, so that we can advance the technology more quickly with plants than with any other living thing.
That's very exciting. Well, Emil, thank you so much for being able to chat with me.
Thank you.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. The CPCA 2021 season is rounding the final corner as Wednesday night kicked off the Canadian Championship. One driver went above and beyond the rest, and as Evan Kenny explains, he's looking to continue that success.
Night one of the Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals kicked off Wednesday night here in Lloydminster. On the track, 2019 Canadian champion Todd Baptiste ran 1 second faster than any other driver with a time of 1:18.12 to win the first day money.
Yeah, everything worked out good for us tonight. Pretty pleased with how the race transpired for us, so couldn't ask for any better luck right now.
Joining Baptiste in that final heat was Jamie Labacane, Logan Gorst, and Todd's brother, Ryan Baptiste. The two Baptiste brothers currently sit 1 and 2 in the standings.
Well, it's been pretty extraordinary, I guess, you know, in terms of having both of our wagons in the top four. I mean, you know, there's a lot of hard work that we put into it over the year, and you know, if we're able to be in the top four, Ryan and I mean, I think that would be the icing on the cake. Obviously, winning it would be the best, but you know, until that day comes, we're still going to shoot for the top four.
Baptiste also mentioned while he's happy with his first race, the work isn't over yet.
You know, you just got to take her one day at a time, and you still got to race fast and keep it clean. And you know, the competition's pretty stiff, so you know, there's any of the top six can be in there. So it goes to show that, you know, the CPCA has a lot of depth this year, and you know, for the guys that have been putting in their work, you know, everything's starting to show for everybody here.
The horn sounds and heat number 6 is off and running as we...
Wednesday night saw 2011 CPCA champion Devin Mitzwing racing in place of his brother Dale and Jamie Labacane round out the top three. Races start each night at 6:30, with Sunday being the exception, starting at 2 p.m. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now Connor Chan will take another look at your forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Still sitting around 18 degrees. We could see some cloud coverage and some rain, and there's a bit of a chance of some thunder showers out further west in those areas in some parts of eastern BC, as well as in central parts of Alberta, like the Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary areas could see some thunderstorms. But take a look, though, further out west. 20 degrees in Edmonton, Athabasca, 17 for Edson, Rocky Mountain House, and Red Deer, 20 degrees in Saskatoon. As we take a shift over to Saskatchewan, temperatures now 19 in North Battleford and Prince Albert, with 21 up in Meadow Lake as well. 20 in in Buffalo Narrows, 20 in La Loche, with 15 up in Uranium City, Stony Rapids, and Walston Lake. 21 in La Ronge with 18 degrees in Flin Flon. Looking over into northern Alberta now, 16 in Peace River, 17 in Fort McMurray. Still pretty mild for the most part, as we're seeing lots of those mid-teen temperatures continuing on here for most of the days. We're seeing that cold front still kind of coming in now. 20 degrees in high level, with 17 also in Grand Prairie. Now it's also a little cooler in the southern parts of Alberta as well. 17 in Lethbridge, 18 for Medicine Hat, with 13 in Calgary and in Banff. Looking over to southern Saskatchewan, 18 for Moose Jaw, 17 in Regina, 17 also in Yorkton, with 16 in Estevan and Swift Current, and then Kindersley sitting at 19 degrees. As we kind of shift our focus to the eastern parts of Canada, 21 degrees in Winnipeg. Still pretty warm in those Toronto and Quebec City areas, still in the heat warning with that 31-degree temperature, which is a little unusual, of course, for the month of August as things start to cool down a little bit more. 24 in St. John, with 25 in Halifax. We could see that rain also, like I said yesterday, moving eastbound throughout the week, so we could start to see those areas get hit with some showers at some point, with some storms as well. 23 in Vancouver, 12 up in Yellowknife with some rain, and then 15 degrees in Whitehorse. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, it's going to be pretty much the same as what we saw earlier today. Probably just not as much rain, as little to no rain tomorrow for what we saw this morning. 17 degrees in Lloydminster, though, 19 in Marwayne, Vermilion, as well as in the Vegreville, and then we'll see 19 as a pretty consistent number through our area here, especially up in the Lac La Biche, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Pierceland areas as well. 19 also, we'll see that in Maidstone and North Battleford for tomorrow, along with Macklin, and then Meadow Lake, St. Walburg, and that stream upwards north of areas that are going to see those temperatures just shy of 20 degrees, as we are going to kind of see that number for a little bit and staying in those mid-teens, and then we'll see that continuing on the higher echelon of teens heading into into Saturday and Sunday at 18 degrees, and then things will start to cool down on Monday, Tuesday. So we could see that rain starting Sunday and then also carrying over into Monday for a very high chance of that continuing on. And then even just a little bit possibly for Tuesday, and then going into Wednesday, 19 degrees will be the high. And then we'll get back to some really warm temperatures there on Thursday with that high of 24 degrees. And we're still going to see those very cool mornings and overnights as well, with those single digits that continue to come within those several days. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
I'm speaking with Tasha Hilderman with Home Hardware Building Center here in Lloydminster, and we're talking about Home Hardware hosting their second night market. What's all involved in this event?
Well, we started it in 2019 as an idea to share some of the best parts of the community artisans and growers and makers that we don't necessarily get exposed to every day. And at the store, we carry a lot of products from local makers. And we wanted to just have an event to be able to celebrate that a little bit. And also with our summers being so short, we're like, this would just be a great time after everybody's back from the lake to be able to come and, you know, enjoy the warm evenings while we still have them, while getting to hear some live music and see some of the best that Lloydminster has to offer.
Where would donations be going towards from this?
We have donations being collected during the evening and also from some of our vendor participation fees going towards the Vic Juba community. I believe it's called the multi-space expansion, which obviously Vic Juba Community Theater is such an important part of the community, and we're so lucky to have such an amazing space like that we can use, and they just need a little bit more room. So celebrating with all of the artisans and the makers of Lloydminster all coming together, and we're listening to live music, it just made sense as a charitable donation for us to try to collect some donations towards that as well.
For residents who may be unaware, when and where will this second night market be?
Yeah, so the night market is going to be held at the store in the garden center. So Home Hardware Building Center, we're on Highway 17 South on 50th Avenue in Lloydminster. It's going to kick off at 5 p.m. and run till around 9. And parking last time, like there was people parking up and down the streets and all over the place. So we really recommend carpooling, or because we are a neighborhood store, you can bike over or you can walk over with your friends, especially if it's going to be a nice night. It's just a nice way to pop over.
Now, how was support with the first night market event with community members?
The first night market blew us away. And even since we held the first one, it's kind of become a little bit more popular. We've seen other places also holding night markets. But the first one, we thought, oh, it'll be like a little event in the garden center. We might have, 200 people show up. And we were over 1,000 people. We were crammed into the corners. And it was just so amazing that so many people wanted to get out and support these small businesses. And especially now, like 2020, we couldn't host it obviously because of COVID. Now with it being outdoors and some of the relaxation in the summer, we are able to host it again. And I think people are really looking forward to just getting out and socializing and seeing people and being able to talk to people again. So we're really looking forward to that.
Could you explain on how the idea for the event came up to do this for Home Hardware?
Well, we had been doing some smaller events for local businesses. Like we were having pop-up shops, or we had a small business Saturday where we had local makers come and be able to set up booths. And we thought in the summertime, it'd be really nice to, especially this idea of a night market. We had seen them hosted like overseas. They have them all the time because it's too hot in the summer days. So they host them at night. And in August, when the sun starts to set a little bit earlier, because our summer evenings are so long, like we have the sun up till 11. So in August, once it starts to set a little bit earlier, but it's still warm enough to be outside, we just thought we've got to take advantage of this beautiful weather, beautiful light, and enjoy these evenings while we can.
Why would you say that Home Hardware believes it's important to have this in the community?
one of the things that we believe that makes communities unique is small business, because those makers, growers, artisans, small local businesses are what makes a community unique. Chain stores and the big things that we all get excited about when they come to town are great, but you'll see those same things city after city after city. What makes a community unique are all these little guys that and small businesses that have a unique take on the Midwest, for example, for us here. And sometimes they're small and they don't get to be able to showcase to the whole city, or it's difficult to get awareness. So we have a space that we're able to use to help these smaller businesses get a larger voice and get seen on a larger platform. And that makes the whole community better. When everybody is doing well, the community as a whole does well. And that makes Lloydminster a better place to live. So it all works out. It's giving me shivers right now just talking about it, because it just makes everybody excited about the place they call home.
Where can residents find more info about the second night market if they're interested in attending? Where can they find more information about it online?
Sure. So our Facebook page, if you search Home Hardware Building Center Lloydminster or even Home Hardware Lloydminster, it should pop up. We've got an event there. So if you sign up that you're interested or going to the event, you just click on Facebook. It'll send you reminders. It'll also let you add it to your calendar so you don't miss it. We did have some people the first night be like, oh my gosh, that was last night. I missed it. I just keep hearing about how great it was. So you definitely want to mark it on your calendar so you don't forget. And we're also really promoting it a lot on Instagram as well. You'll see some of the vendors that are coming. We're going to have around 60 vendors. So it's a lot. It's about double the size it was in 2019. Food, art, craft, like jewelry, handmade items, tons of different stuff, something for everybody. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Facebook, Instagram. On Instagram, we're Home Hardware Lloyd. So yeah, those are the best places to find us.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say wear comfortable shoes. Obviously it's outside, so the weather could start out hot and get cooler. So bring a layer, a sweater or something if you want. Bug spray if we happen to have a bug issue. You never know. The mosquitoes are down right now, but they could be back up. And just come planning to have a good time.
Perfect. Well, all you Lloydminster residents out there that are watching, remember to check out the second night market event on August 26th. Thanks again so much for joining us today, Tasha.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to be joined on Primetime Local News today by Shelby Newkirk. Shelby, I'm just so honored to speak with you. You are heading to the Paralympics in Tokyo. You're speaking to us today from Saskatoon. So first of all, I have to say congratulations on your long list of accomplishments and getting to compete in Tokyo.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about the process. It's got to be so much work and dedication to get to this point. So how did the process work for you to find out that eventually you were selected to compete in Tokyo?
Yeah, so it's definitely been a long ways to get here. I actually found out that I made the team back in 2019 at World Championships. So how Canada does it is if we got gold or silver at World Championships, then we'd secure our spot for Tokyo. And I knew that going into the race. I knew that I was ranked in second place. And I was so tired going into that race that a bunch of my coaches, they weren't even sure if I'd be able to make it to the wall, let alone actually medal. And I came in just 0.5 of a second behind the person in gold, and I got my silver. And I knew at that point that I'd secured my spot for Tokyo.
So once that happens, is it all focused then on the Olympics, everything that you do?
Pretty much. It's kind of all been focused on Tokyo for years, to be honest. I first set my goal to be in Tokyo in 2015. And ever since then, all eyes have been on Tokyo. I've been working towards it ever since then. But I also definitely believe in balance in life. So I'm a student, I coach, I run 2 businesses on the side. Like I have other things going on as well, but especially this year, I've really had to focus in on Tokyo. So while it's nice to have those other things to kind of focus on in life as well, this year, all eyes have kind of been going forward towards the Paralympics.
So how exciting is this for you, Shelby? I can't even imagine. It's the dream of so many who try and can't make it, but you've made it to this point now where you're on the world stage. So is it still a little surreal for you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like this is a dream come true for sure. And for years, I've known that I wanted to make this team. And back in 2017, when I made the national team for the first time, I broke two America's records at our trials that year, and I made my first Canadian team. And I'm like, hey, like this could actually happen. Like this could be a dream that could happen. And that was the same year I broke my first world record. And the next year I got gold at Parapan Pacific Games, and the next year I got silver at Worlds, and it was all just kind of like, okay, it's getting more real. But even now, knowing that in like basically a month, I'll be leaving for Tokyo, and I'll be going into the village, and all these things I have dreamed of for so long will finally be coming true. And I think it's just so cool, and I think it's going to be such a great experience.
Now, you talk about the number of records that you've broken or hold. Have you been able to keep track of that? Is that something that you focus on, or is it just nice when it happens and then focus on something else?
I'm a big fan of goal setting. I always have been. And so I kind of see these as the smaller goals that I have like as stepping stones. So I broke my first Canadian records in fall of 2016. And I remember I thought that was such a pinnacle. And I'm like, I broke like Canadian records, like I'm the fastest in Canada. And I kind of let that sit with me for a minute. And I'm like, but like, what's the next one? What's the next goal that I can go to now? And so I kind of celebrated that one. And then I looked at, okay, I want to get America's records. And once I did that, I'm like, hey, I'm like only about a second off from the world record. Let's see if we can make this happen. So yeah, I've kind of just been building on that, and I've definitely lost track here and there. Every now and then I'll go kind of back through the Canadian records. I'm like, oh, I have 14 now, which is the current. And yeah, so I think some of those little victories are still really important to celebrate. They're still great achievements. I'm still super proud of them, but yeah, I've lost track a few times throughout the years.
Well, and Shelby, you're doing kind of a cool thing now too to help out with the Paralympic swimming program. There's shirts that people can buy that are for Team Shelby, so they can support you in the Olympics and support swimming. So, how does this work? How can people order the shirts to support the Paralympic swim program?
Yeah, so the shirts actually kind of started. We had a lot of people asking for fan shirts. And that's something quite common that people will do. And so they have kind of like this logo that I designed on the front with my slogan, dream big, smile bigger, which is something that I always like to say. And it says Team Shelby on the back. And so while we were making these for people, we realized like, hey, this could actually be an opportunity to help out up and coming swimmers. And so that's why we decided to do the fundraiser for the upcoming swimmers. So you can check it out on my Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. And there's basically a website set up that has all the details. You can email Team Shelby yxe@gmail.com to place an order, and you can get more info through there as well. And all funds are donated. So I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm really excited to see what the funds can go towards for our local club.
Well, Shelby, thank you so much for speaking with me today. I know you're a busy person and you've got so much going on, but we wish you the best of luck in the Paralympics, and just know that all of Saskatchewan and Canada and, you know, your hometown, your home city, your dad's hometown of Maple Creek, which is where I grew up and connected with you that way. Everybody is just cheering you on and so excited for you. So congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We're going to see pretty warm temperatures in the high teens for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but then things will start to cool off a little bit on Monday with that high of 14 degrees. We could see lots of rain coming this weekend for us here on Sunday, and also on Monday from that carryover. 15 on Tuesday, 19 degrees on Wednesday, and as we get into Thursday, that high of 24. So that'll be probably the warmest day we'll see in quite a while, as we've seen pretty average temperatures for the month of August, as we're a little bit below averages right now, as we're starting to see temperatures start to be in those single digits in our daytime lows and overnight and into the early mornings. It was definitely a cooler morning with all that rain we got this morning, but make sure that, but it may be, maybe we could be seeing, lots of showers upcoming this weekend.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News, and have a great night.